chaos of occupied Germany selling her furniture in markets and avoiding posters, asking questions about her whereabouts. But in March 1946, American counterintelligence agents tracked her down. She was arrested and after some time returned to the United States to face trial for treason. Her arrival was widely reported in the American press, which portrayed her as a notorious voice of the enemy. For many who had fought against the Axis powers, she was the embodiment of betrayal, a woman who had used her nationality and language to wound her own countrymen. The trial began on the 25th of January, 1949 in Washington, D.C., and Gillars listened as prosecutors laid out the case. They presented transcripts of her broadcasts, recordings of her voice, and testimony from soldiers who had heard her on the air. The most damning evidence was the Vision of Invasion broadcast, which prosecutors argued had directly aided the German war effort by attempting to undermine Allied morale on the eve of D-Day and invasion of Europe. Gillars defended herself by claiming she had acted under pressure, that she had feared imprisonment or death if she refused to cooperate with Nazi authorities. She insisted that she had never truly betrayed her country, that she had only played a role assigned to her. Her lawyers argued that she was more of an actress than a traitor, and even argued that Gillars was under the hypnotic influence of German program director Koischwitz, and therefore not fully responsible for her actions until after his death in 1944. Yet the jury was not convinced. After weeks of testimony, she was found guilty of treason, specifically for the Vision of Invasion broadcast. On the 10th of March 1949, she was stripped of her US citizenship and sentenced to 10 to 30 years in prison and a fine of $10,000, an equivalent of more than 135,000 United States dollars today. After serving 12 years, she was released in 1961. She returned to Ohio, where she lived under her own name once again. She never married or had children, and she lived in relative obscurity and worked for a time at a convent school, having converted to Catholicism while in prison. Throughout her life, Gillars remained unapologetic about her association with Nazism. Shortly before her death, she reportedly showed a neighbor a cup that she had described as one of her most cherished possessions, saying it had been given to her by Heinrich Himmler, the leader of the SS, and one of the most powerful men in Nazi Germany. Mildred Gillars, once known as Bitch of Berlin, died on the 25th of June 1988, at the age of 87, largely forgotten by the world that had once known her voice so clearly. But her legacy endures, a warning of how propaganda can travel in familiar tones, how betrayal can wear a friendly face, and how a single voice carried through the airwaves could be turned into a weapon.